for those of you who follow the budget, you can predict a lot of what's going to be in there in terms of specific line items of the things that are being spent for. And there's also new constituencies that are created every year in terms of people that are highly motivated to receive state money, and basically their interest is paired up against people who are very diffuse in terms of the taxpayers of Ohio, who pay many kinds of taxes and many kinds of fees, and are in a sense being nickel and dimed to death. That politics as usual lock on the spending process can be broken through policy such as the one that Representative Chris Jordan is going to talk about today. Representative Chris Jordan is going to talk about a Ohio Grace Commission. We at the Buckeye Institute have, together with Citizens Against Government Waste, have helped him with research. There are other states that are tackling the problem of too much government for what people can afford through the same strategy of trying to examine critically from the ground zero up in terms of state spending. And so at this point I'd like to turn it over to Representative Chris Jordan, who will talk about his legislation and also talk about and introduce the co-sponsors to his bill. And then after that we'll open it up for questions. Representative Jordan.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone for showing up here today. I'd also like to thank David Hansen from Buckeye Institute and David Williams from Citizens Against Government Waste for being here with me. I also want to take time to introduce some of the co-sponsors of this piece of legislation, a bunch of colleagues of mine. I'll go through it real quick. John Adams, Representative Jared Martin, Representative Terry Booz, Representative Cheryl Grossman, I think is on her way, Representative Terry Blair, Representative Dave Burke, Representative Eaker, Representative Height, Representative Hackett, Representative Dick Adams. Do we have anyone who... Oh, sorry about that. I wanted to introduce you House Bill 66. It's also called the Government Efficiency Commission, or the Pork Chop Bill. It's been referred to as the Ohio Grace Commission as a reference to President Ronald Reagan's Federal Grace Commission envisioned in 1982, a time where we had similar problems that we do today. At that time, President Reagan convened a private sector commission led by industrialist J. Peter Grace to examine the federal budget and look for wasteful and duplicative spending. This private sector commission identified more than $400 billion in government savings along the way with very few cuts. I know Ohio's best and brightest can achieve these same kind of results. We have many intelligent and energetic folks in the state, and we can identify similar savings. In developing the Pork Chop Bill, I wanted to avoid having bureaucrats and agency employees from becoming members of the commission, because their goals would be to fight for their own interest and to preserve inefficient programs that plague our state. That's why it's explicitly stated in the bill's language that no state agency employee, legislator, or member of an organization that lobbies the General Assembly will be allowed to serve on the commission. Instead, we have 12 qualified and respected business leaders, appointed 3 each by the governor, Speaker of the House, President of the Senate, and the auditor of the state, and those will be the only members. The goal of this commission is to identify wasteful spending, inefficiencies in areas in Ohio's government where the private sector can be expanded. Their goal is to grow the economy and protect taxpayers and families, not to protect government programs. Back in 1982, Ohio's unemployment rate went from 11.5% to 13.8%. Last December, our unemployment rate was 7.4%, and now it's more than 8.8% and it's still climbing. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and now we need more than ever to let folks in Ohio know that government is being responsible with the money that they're given, and we need to make our tax dollars go further. President Reagan thought that reducing the size of government was the key to fixing our ailing economy. The reaction of Governor Strickland, the Obama administration in these tough times, however, is to try and beef up the economy by creating more programs and giving away more handouts. But like most politicians, it seems that they can't tell the difference between beef and pork. The federal stimulus bill, despite Obama's promise for earmark reform, contains about 9,000 earmarks. My favorite, I think it may have just been mentioned, is a 1.7 earmark for pig odor research in Iowa. If that's not pork, I don't know what is. Recent biennial budgets in Ohio have had their share of pork, providing a $1,300 subsidy for women to learn breakdancing in Brooklyn, New York, with Ohio taxpayer dollars, is a good example of a program that doesn't grow our economy, and I would question what it really does to help Ohioans. The fact that there's 154 employees at Ohio State University that make $250,000 each is also questionable. I, like many other kids in Ohio, save my money and work to pay my way through college. And looking at these salaries, it borders on excessive. And as in the recent transportation budget that we just passed here a week ago, I went to bed about midnight one evening thinking I knew what the budget was going to be the next morning. And then when I woke up about 6:45, I had a voicemail on my phone saying that there was another $2 billion added to the budget, and we were going to be voting on it the next day. That's certainly not an example of being a good steward of our taxpayers' money. It's just another case of government gone wild. I believe our leaders have set up a system to where we tax too much, we spend too much, and we have the wrong priorities. We need to create a better environment in Ohio that creates jobs and provides better opportunities. Some have stated that the Republican Party has become the party of no, but I think we're the party of better solutions. I want to help Governor Strickland and provide him with these solutions. I do not want to use one-time funds, raise over $1 billion in fees or taxes or whatever you call them in today's English.